Hey everyone, this is Matt, and today I'm coming at you with an Eldlich deck profile post February 2022 ban list. All right, now I know all my other recent videos I've been saying, oh, my Dark Magician deck list is coming. Where's the Dark Magician deck list? Post Battle Chaos. It's coming. Don't worry, it will drop this week before the weekend locals. All right. I really want to take my time on it so that I do it right. Especially since there's been a lot of changes with Dark Magician, especially with the new format. All right, so Eldlich. Why am I making this video? Didn't I already make an Eldlich profile like 1 or 2 months ago? Yes, I did. But since then, we've gotten a shiny new ban list. A ban list so good that it propelled Eldlich to the. It's basically a meta deck now. Like it's no longer an anti-meta deck, although maybe you can say it's an anti-meta meta deck. Yeah, it's and I really feel like I have to talk about the new profile given the new ban list, but also the new format, and also uh, like I want to be done with Eldritch, right? Like I want to focus on Dark Magician. Like right, I started making YouTube content mostly focusing on Dark Magician. Now that Dark Magician is good and consistent, I want to start focusing on that and just table Eldritch, just set it aside for now and not come back to it for a while. So this hopefully will be the last Eldritch video that I make for a while. I know I said that on my last 4 Eldritch videos, but yeah, so take that however you wish. But yeah, I've already won top locals with this. I've won locals with this, so this is already. I already know it's a good deck. I already know. I already feel like I've mastered Eldritch. That there's not much more exploring to do. Plus, I just have more fun playing Dark Magician. One thing I will say about Eldritch decks is you run into time gets called in Game 3 way more often than like in Dark Magician deck. Like in Dark when I play Dark Magician, Game 3 rarely ends on because of time due to time. Whereas I feel with Eldritch it happens a lot. So it's that really annoys me because I really hate the how tournament time rules work. Like I really wish that we could just finish the freaking game, right? Like not end so anticlimactic. Anyway, so yeah, and then the last reason so Elish is meta now. It's no longer cool, but a lot of people are playing it. But yeah, the last reason I want to play this deck is because I keep seeing these Eldritch players, maybe they're bandwagon meta sheep. I don't know, coming out of the woodwork playing Eldritch either locals or online, maybe Master Duel, whatever. And these decks are absolutely atrocious. Like I don't understand where the hell some of these people this went to look up their deck lists or who taught them how to build Eldritch. But every time I see these garbage Eldritch lists, they're just completely wrong. Like I see Cyberse Eldlich, Dogmatika Eldlich, Eldlich with hand traps. Like, what is wrong with you people? Stop building Eldlich shittily. If you want to play all that stuff, go play another deck. Like, go play a Zombie World deck, right? If you like zombies and you don't want to play traps, if you want to play hand traps and other garbage cards, go play Zombie World. Like, Eldritch is not the deck for you if you're gonna mix in a Cyberse engine, like Dogmatica, all this bullshit. Like, don't do it, right? I literally saw someone at my locals playing Punk Eldritch. Like, why would you do that? There's no point to play Punk Eldritch. Just play Eldritch with a bunch of traps. That's literally all you need. It's the purest form, and it's the most effective form. I kid you not. Like, this reminds me of a clip from TRIF's. TRIF is another fellow Eldritch enjoyer like myself, and he can really channel the rage in correct properly. So this is how I feel about when I see these shitty Eldritch decks.
Please stop misplaying and playing your absolutely garbage ways of playing Eldritch. Please just play my Eldritch decks and stop giving Eldritch duelists a bad name. I can't stress enough how shit your guys' deck lists are, and it fucking pains me, bro. It's like Gordon Ramsay seeing a beautiful medium rare steak that some idiot cooks to well done. Are you an idiot? No. And don't get me fucking started on people that play 3 Golden Lord. If you play 3 Golden Lord, please comment down below so I can block you and never see your face again. Anyways, alright, enough molding. I'm a very, very, very passionate person about things I love. And I love Eldritch. Please stop misplaying and playing your absolutely...
Alright. So that was the video I wanted to show, the clip I want to show because, yeah, that's how I feel. Please stop trying to be clever with mixing the Punk engine or the Libromancer engine or whatever bullshit useless engine Cyberse Eldritch. It's not good. Like just play pure trap Eldritch. It's and the ratios too are just god awful. Like Please don't play hand traps. Okay, the whole point of having a trap deck is that traps are way more impact and like do more than hand traps, right? They're slower, yes, but again, this is a control deck. You want to be slow. You want to have the grind game, right? Like so. Every card in this deck is like in this list that you're about to see is objectively better than any hand trap. Don't play Infinite Permanence. Don't play Ash. Don't play any of those garbage cards. Just play these cards, please. Traps, only traps, and of course the necessary Eldlich stuff, right? It just pains me every time I see it because when I see these players like playing these weird Eldritch decks, I always 2-0 them, right? Not only because I know how Eldritch works, but like their decks, their cards are just so weak. It's like, oh, you have Ash Blossom in an Eldritch deck. Oh no, you're gonna stop my one search. Like you're trading for nothing. It's a -1, right? Like whatever. It's crap. All right. All right. So let's go over this one last time. This is going to be pretty in-depth. I'm going to talk about some combos. I know I did this in the last video, but I am going to focus on some of the changes. Also note, the correct sleeve colors: main deck, side deck, gold, extra deck, red, right? These are the Eldritch colors, all right? Okay. So, let's start with the main deck. All right, monsters. This is going to be monsters in an Eldritch deck. This is going to be extremely, extremely quick and straightforward. 2 Eldliches. That's it. Do not run 3. Do not run 3. Do not run 3. These are bricky in your hand. Like, at most, you want to see 1 in your hand, and only sometimes. Most of the time, you rather it be in your deck. You absolutely do not want to see 2 of these in your hand. Please do not put more than 2 Eldritch. Oh, but what if they banish my Eldritch? Alright, like, let's talk about banishing Eldritch, right? Cards that can banish Eldritch. Call by the Grave, that's a one of. Some decks don't even bother running it, right? Ice Dragon's Prison. Only, like, some mid-range and, like, control decks are going to run it, and that will require both of your Eldritches to be in the graveyard, or you to have, like, one of your Golden Land monsters with the Eldritch in the graveyard, right? Like, again, for you to lose both of these, like you just need one, right? Like, if one gets banished, like, whatever, it's still playable, but, like, you don't, yeah. Don't, the argument of, oh, what if one of them or both gets banished? Like, that's not a good argument, okay? DD Crow. Well, now that Bird Up is gone, you see less DD Crow. Yeah, there's still like Flandres. Flandres can banish. Some run a single copy of DD Crow. Some, they run the Stritch card, which can banish as well. Yeah, things can banish in this deck. Like, I'm not saying that they won't get banished. I'm just saying that you can play around it. You have responses. You have Solemn Judgment. You can use Conquistador. Like, if you're gonna get Ice Dragons, you can use Conquistador to pop your Eldritch before it gets banished, right? Like your own Eldritch. Like, there's ways around. Like, you can use chain to Ice Dragons because you can chain Scarlet Sanguine to bring the Eldritch back from the graveyard, so they lose target. Like, there's plenty of ways to deal with getting banished that you don't have to justify running a third. A third Eldritch is a brick. Please do not run 3 Eldritches. If you insist on running 3 Eldritch, just leave my channel. Like, don't watch this video because like, you're just dumb. Like, you're wrong. It's just wrong. All right. Okay. So 2 Eldritches, 2 Golden Lords, and 2 Lords of the Heavenly Prison. So this card is amazing. It's a level 10. Eldritch is also level 10. These together can all make rank 10s. So the 4 of them. I main deck 2. I side deck my 3rd, which you'll see later. Honestly, this is better going first, and if you're side decking and you know you're going to go second, you can take these out. Like, that's fine. But going second, they're fine too. Let's say you're against a Sword Soul player. They know you're playing Eldritch. They're going to set up a board with Sword Soul Blackout. Guess what? On your turn, you just flip this. Blackout does nothing, right? Let's say you know you're against a deck that runs Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, like Invoked, or maybe like whatever, Phantom Knights. This, going second is still good. Protects your back row from destruction. So, and if you still run into those really bad duelists who insist on running bad cards like Twin Twisters, Lightning Storm, Harpies, whatever, this will protect you from all that, right? Evenly matched Cosmic Cyclone, those are the best back row removal. Why? Because they ignore this, right? If you're going to run Twin Twisters, Harpies, Lightning Storm, I'm going to laugh in your face. That's what this card says. This card says, lol, you're an idiot for not running Cosmic Cyclone or Evenly Matched. Alright. These are the only 2 monsters you need in your deck. You can bring in the third Lord of Heaven Prison from the side deck only if you feel like their deck has a lot of pops. Like if you're against like an Unchained deck, they pop a lot. You're against a Live Twin deck, they pop a lot. You're against, you know, a Turbo DP deck, they pop a lot, right? Then you can bring in your third copy if you really want to. But honestly, you can make do with just two, right? This is also a card that's kind of bricky. You don't want to see more than one in your hand, at least on any given turn. But, you know, it'd be nice to have that second copy sometimes. All right, that's your monster lineup. That's it. No hand traps. You don't need it. You don't need Dogmatika. You don't need Punk. You don't need any of that. Just these monsters. That's it. All right. Spell lineup. This is going to be even shorter than my previous video. 3 Pot of Extravagance. That's it. I recall from my last video I have 2 pots of duality. Well, because of recent changes to a ban list, I no longer have those pots of dualities because I needed room for other traps, right? So honestly, Extravagance is all you need. Extra deck, not super important in this. You know, this just generates card advantage, and since all your traps give you card advantage, this gives you this like snowballs a card advantage, right? So this is good. Only problem is like sometimes you get unlucky, you banish all your Entis, and then your punishments are a lot weaker. Doesn't happen often, but can happen. If you're side deck in game 2, game 3, feel free to take these out. You don't need them. Like there might be other cards in your side deck that you want more than this card, so just side these out in game 2 and 3. Or keep them, doesn't matter. So that's it. So we have 4 monsters. We have 3, that's 7 cards. So therefore we have 33 traps. Very straightforward. All right. So let's start with the Eldlich engine because this is the you know, you're required to run these. These are honestly like some of the worst cards in your deck. Like your Eldlich engine is the weakest part of your deck, hilariously enough. So 3 Sanguine, 3 Conquistador, 3 Huaquero. This is standard, very standard ratios. Most good Eldlich players will tell you this is the ratio to run. Do not run the other Sanguine card, White Elixir or whatever. Just don't bother. This is all you need. Okay. The Elixir searches the Golden Land Monsters. The Golden Land Monsters searches the Elixirs. Huaquero is your friend. Banish DPE before they can revive it. Conquistador is your friend. Pop whatever. You know, pop Chisha, pop whatever their big monster is. Pop the Brave token before they get the Griffin out, like, or Adventure token, right? Yeah, it just requires that you have Eldlich on the field to get their effects. And also all these monsters, these trap monsters, are level 5s and they're lights, so you can go to a rank 5, which you'll see in the extra deck. Elixir, mainly you want to use this to get Eldlich from the deck to the field. Seldom do you actually use this to revive Eldlich from the graveyard. The reason being is because Eldlich can revive himself from the graveyard, so instead of using this to revive this guy, you set this, activate this, send this to the graveyard, and summon back at 3,500, right? And then can't be destroyed by battle, and it's a lingering effect, so skill drain doesn't affect it. So yeah, once you have your Eldlich is out of your deck, these will mainly be used to send to the graveyard to revive. Now, you might want to be careful because if you know they have a lot of cards that banish, like especially targeted banishes or just banishes in general, you want to reserve these on your field to revive your Eldlich from the graveyard in case you need to dodge a banish. Like if they Ice Dragon's Prison target your Eldlich, you can chain this to revive it to make sure that it doesn't get banished. So yeah, so there are some situations where you want to save these to actually revive Eldlich, but most of the time, just set these, send to the graveyard, and bring them back by his own effect. So yeah, this is your Eldlich engine. These are all the Eldlich cards you need. Don't run Curse Eldland, sucks. Don't use the whatever the other crappy ones that I keep seeing are, the spells. These are all you don't need spells. Don't need spells. All right. Cool. So that is the Eldlich package. The next little package I want to show you is the blow up their board package. 3 Torrentials, 2 Needle Ceilings. If you recall from my last deck profile, Needle Ceiling was in my side deck, but I just realized this card is so good you can literally main deck it. Like, so many boards put up 4 monsters, and you don't even need them to have 4 monsters. You just need them to have like 3 monsters. You put out one of your monsters, like a Golden Land monster, and then you blow up the board, right? But trust me, in this format, it'll be very easy to get to 4 monsters. Like Phantom Knights, like, yeah, they get to 4 monsters all the time, right? So yeah, this is a main deck now. Torrential is great. Requires them to summon. If they don't summon, summon one of your Golden Land monsters to trigger this. This one does not require them to summon, just requires them to have 4 or more. You can also fill that requirement by summoning one of your monsters. And by the way, Eldlich, let's say you bring back Eldlich from the graveyard. It cannot be destroyed by card effects. Therefore, these cards will not destroy it. It will clear the rest of the field, but not the Eldlich. Also, I forgot to say one more thing about Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Other than protecting your back row, it can also, if you trigger the effect correctly, summon it to a field. It can search a trap from your deck. When in doubt, search either Extravagance or Elixir, unless you need a very specific, because the caveat of this effect is that you have to banish that card on the end phase. So these are like one and done use cards, right? So maybe there's another trap you need more, but when in doubt, just grab these. And if also in doubt, you could like grab Trap Trigger or whatever. Yeah, I forgot to mention that before about Heavenly Prison. So you can search spells and traps, so it's pretty good. Oh yeah, in terms of the Eldlich artworks, because you run two, it's nice to just have two different artworks just to distinguish them. You can call them names like Bob, Fred, whatever. They're different, right? Run premium. I know there's a secret rare one that's like shinier and like more expensive, but run the premium gold. Like this is the Golden Lord, right? Run premium gold. These are one of the few cards in Yu-Gi-Oh where the premium gold actually looks like really, really nice. So, all right, back to this. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Torrentials, there's a collector's rare now from Grand Creators. I am gonna be buying them soon. I just don't have them yet. But for now, I'm gonna run like the two. What is this? Well, not Brothers of Legend. The other Relentless, whatever. And then this is the OG Torrential Tribute from Labyrinth of Nightmare. So my very first Torrential Tribute ever. Yeah. So please buy these. These are, I think, mandatory main decks now. Like, these are some of the best cards in the game. Just blow up a board. They don't have bodies. They like you need bodies on the board to make plays now in the Yu-Gi-Oh, like in this format. All right, the next package I want to show is the, I like to call like get rid of two things. Also, also like spot removal, right? So punishment can pop one card minimum, right? You just send a card as targeted. If you send Entis, you pop two cards. Here, the reason we want Ice Dragons, and the reason why Ice Dragons is at 2 now, I think in my last list was at 3. Ice Dragon's still a good card. You banish a card from their graveyard and one on their field. The reason I dropped it down to 2 is because, so I have the third in my side deck now. So I do have a third copy just in my side deck. The reason I dropped it down to 2 is because with the recent format changes, this comes up less often. For example, Prank Kids, all their monsters have like different types, so it's very hard to like get 2 cards that you want to banish, right? So that makes things hard. Still good against Sword Soul. Like, in fact, Changing is very, very hard to out. You have like 2 outs of Changing. Eldlich target sends to the graveyard because this hand effect sends to the graveyard, does not destroy, and this card, right? So yeah, against the Sword Soul matchup, you want to bring in the third Ice Dragons because getting rid of that Changing is really annoying if they put it up. I also like to use this in Virtual World to get rid of Shen Shen because Shen Shen is just annoying. And there's also some other Virtual World synchros, and I think there might be next season one, that are hard to destroy because of their effect, but you can just banish them with this. But yeah, other than that, I mean, Dragon Link, this is great. Dragon Link made a comeback, right? But birds are gone. Bird Up is gone. Fluanderies, they laugh at your face if you try to like. There's no point in running Ice Dragons against Fluanderies. So I guess the reason I cut this down to 3 rather than 2 is because, or cut this down to 2 rather than 3 is because there's fewer matchups where this is relevant. Obviously, this can still out DPE, revive Celestial, banish DPE, and Celestial. But yeah, bring in the third copy if you're in a matchup where it's really useful. But otherwise, if you're blind, you don't know what your opponent has, I would say this is not as good at 3 anymore. But again, you're going to see later, we have Trap Trick, so really you have 4 copies of this, so it's not a big deal. Alright. And then the next 2 cards, that's cards I want to showcase, 2 Dimensional Barriers. I forget if on my last video I had 3, or if I had the third one in my side deck. I'm just running 2, period. The reason being is because Link decks are back. There's a lot more decks that rely on Link summons. Prank Kids, like all Links. Phantom Knights are not all Links. They have Xyz, but are mostly Links, or like there's a lot of Links summoning going on there. Yeah, I just feel like D barrier is not as good anymore. Like when decks like, for example, Drytron, a lot weaker. This could be used on rituals as well. Dragon Link, I guess you can stop their synchros, so this is still useful against Dragon Link, still useful against Sword Soul. Invoke DP kind of disappeared. I haven't seen an Invoke DP deck in forever, but technically this can still be used to stop like DPE from either reviving stuff or coming out in the first place. So yeah, I cut this down to 2. I don't think we need 3 anymore because of the fact that like Prank Kids for one of the best decks like completely ignores this card, right? And also Eldlich Mirror matchup, this does nothing, right? Whereas like in the Eldlich Mirror matchup, Ice Dragons is still good, right? Um, so yeah, 2 is plenty. And remember, we have Trap Trick, which basically makes all these traps 4 ofs or 2 more copies. Speaking of, 2 Trap Trick, 2 is still the right number. 3 can be bricky because these are hard once per turns. Yeah, this adds 2 copies to every normal trap I just showed you. Elixir, 2 more copies of that. 2 more copies of Torrential, 2 more copies of Needle Sealing, 2 more copies. Like it's just great. There's never a reason to not have at least 2 of these in your main deck. Yeah, but I would not go for the 3rd copy, not even the side deck. All right, so that's all for our normal traps. Next, we're gonna get into Floodgates. As expected, here we have 2 Gozen match, 3 skill drains. Skill drain is now at 3. Thank you, Konami. Obviously, notice that Imperial Order is gone because Imperial Order is banned, so no more Imperial Order. But that's okay because Imperial Order was actually unhealthy for the game. Skill Drain is not unhealthy for the game. Skill Drain is good for the game. Yeah, I picked up the triple loss artworks because these are the best artworks because Dark Ruler has his demon horns, whereas in the most of the other skill drains he does not have the demon horns. They're literally censored, which is stupid. But yeah, skill drain is amazing. Eldlich completely ignores it. This can just win you games. And in fact, this can help your other card effects go through. Like, oh, need to blow up their field, but they have the Barone to try to negate. Torrential, they chain Barone, chain skill drain, done. Or Torrential, they chain Mechaba, chain skill drain, done. Right? It's just like protects your other traps and allows them to go through. Same with Needle Sealing, right? But also Changing. Remember I said Changing is really hard to kill. Skill drain removes its effect, so it becomes very easy to kill. Gozen match. 2 of in the main deck, 3rd copy in the side deck. This will single-handedly win the Prank Kids matchup. If they're playing Prank Kids, they scoop. You flip this, they scoop. You play Sword Soul. You flip this, they scoop. They play Tenyi, like just a pure Tenyi adventure. They scoop. Sky Striker, they scoop. Like this causes so many decks to just scoop. So why is this not a 3 of in the main deck? The reason being that decks like Dragon Link, which are good now in the format, not as effective. I mean, they can be used. When would you use this against Dragon Link? If you're going first, they summon Romulus, you flip this. Romulus is a win. The rest of the deck is Lights and Darks. They're done, right? But going second against Dragon Link, this does nothing. You're going up against another Eldritch player, this does nothing, right? This can be used against Beat Troopers. Beat Troopers are a mix of Earth, Wind, and like obviously DP is Dark. So yeah, I don't think this is a 3 of simply because like there's some decks that like Phantom Knights mostly don't care. Like so technically the adventure package, the token is an Earth, the Griffin is a Wind, right? So technically, if they have the Brave, like the adventure token, they can activate Griffin in hand. You chain this, Griffin does not come out to the field. But then maybe they get Draco back, and then Draco back bounces this. So I don't know. I feel like this is a 2 of for main. Definitely a 3 of in side deck because if you're in the right matchup. Gozen matches all right against Virtual World. Yeah, you lock them into Winds and Earths, but like they have enough synchros and XCs that they can play around it for the most part. But yeah, five floodgates means that more often than not you'll see at least one of these in your opening hand. So yeah, I thought this was a good ratio. But feel free, like if you think I'm playing too many punishments in the main, or like feel free to bump this up to 3. Like it's good in the current format. So yeah, so those are all the floodgates, continuous traps, and finally your no cards. Nope, no monsters. No, no, and no. All right. So people are saying, "Are you an idiot? Why are you maining Solemn Judgment if you're like, you know, what if you lose? What if you lose a die roll and you go second? Solemn Judgment is still decent. Like, you know, uh, especially when you consider that like a lot of matchups, um, for example, Fluanderies, this kills their normal summon, whereas they can chain block their effects. So Solemn Strike might not work against Fluanderies, but this is really good. Um, Yeah, obviously it's better going second, and a lot of other Eldritch players, TRIF included, will say, "Oh, side these and then put something else in." But what would you really put in, honestly? I mean, the only thing I can think of that you would put in is like, put in your third Gozen and your third Ice Dragons, I guess, right? And then put two sol. And honestly, you can do that. I just think that I mean, half the time you're winning the die roll. I'd just rather have these cards going first. But especially since if you think about a lot of decks now, because back row is a lot more prevalent, they are starting to run main deck back row removal, right? So you think, oh, side deck, but the logic was like, oh, side deck Solemn Judgment, so that when they in game 2 and 3 when they side in their back row, you side these in to stop their back row removal. But a lot of decks are maining back row removal, so I think it's good to have these. So I did pick up Ultimate Rare Judgments. They're in my Dark Magician deck, not in this one. But I am looking into getting the Ghost Rare Judgments, so I'll replace these with the Ghost Rare ones. Yeah, these cards are great. They just say no, right? They summon Zeus, Solemn, gone. They summon Accesscode, Solemn, gone. They summon their big boss monster, Solemn, gone. This just like and this is just so good. So many applications, and the fact that they're counter traps means that most of the time they can't react. So the same logic that I use, like Skill Drain protects your other back row from monster effects, right? Like let's say you want a Torrential, and they chain Barone Negate, you chain Solemn Strike, or they chain Griffin, you chain Solemn Strike, or they chain whatever. Apex Avian, you change Solemn Strike. So like same way that Skill Drain can protect your other traps from monster effects, so can Solemn Strike. Solemn Strike will always be in the main deck. There's never a reason to not have 3 of in the main deck. It's just a great card. All right, so that is the main deck. Um, Pretty straightforward. I mostly haven't had any issues with these ratios. Yeah, you will have success with this profile. Just use it, and you'll see you don't need Ash, you don't need Imperm. Everything you need is right here. All right, so let's talk about the. Let's start with the extra deck. All right, extra deck. Fusions, triple Intis. You have 3 Dogmatika Punishment. Some of these Intis might be banished from Extravagance. Just run 3. Why not? There's no reason why not. You're against an Invoke player. They use Maximus, send 2, pop 2, right? Yeah, this makes your punishment pop 2 cards, which is good card advantage for you. One Pegasus Agnesser. Sometimes you don't have 2 cards to pop. Sometimes you wanna. This card is in the graveyard. You can a card of yours gets destroyed. You can chain this to bounce a card. So if you know they have DPE, you can preemptively set up Pegasus in your graveyard. If they try to pop you with a card and DPE still on the field, bounce DPE, right? Speaking of bouncing DPE, Omega. So Omega's in the graveyard. You can return Omega to the extra deck and bounce a card from the graveyard to the extra deck. If DPE is in the graveyard, this bounces DPE to the extra deck. No more DPE. Done. So yeah, these are your punishment targets essentially. 3 fusions, 2 synchros. All right, your Xyz Monsters. This is where things get a little spicy. Rank 5, Constellar Pallades. It's a light. It plays through Gozen match. By the way, speaking of Gozen match, recall Eldlich is a light and Heavenly Prison is a dark, so unfortunately you can't have both if you have Gozen match. That's another reason maybe to main deck 2. But anyway, your Golden Land monsters are all level 5 lights. This requires 2 level 5 light monsters. Once per turn quick effect. Just overlay. Detach material, bounce a card. Simple. This can get rid of DPE. Like, DPE activates their effect, you chain this, bounce DPE. Done. No more DPE. Super Dreadnought Railcan and Gustav Max. This is your main rank 10. You can make this with either, any combination of these 4 monsters. They're all level 10s. Note the artwork. The cannon is silver because this is the Lost artwork. It's not the stupid Nerf gun artwork with the blue or neon colored barrel. That's silly. If you're gonna buy this, just buy the Lost art because it's about the same price as the Nerf gun one anyway. So just get this. Yeah, this is 2k damage. Burn. These together are 5k. 5k plus 2k is 7k. But if one of them was revived from the graveyard using their effect, these 2 become 6k and this is 2k. So that's an OTK right there. But let's say one of your Eldlich was not revived, or if you have a Lord of Heavenly Prisoner, or whatever, or maybe you need to get over a big beater, a massive attack monster. this Gustav Lieb overlays on top of Max. So you summon Max. Let's say you overlay these. Summon Max, discard, burn for 2k, rank up, discard. This becomes 6k attack, swing for game, right? 2k plus 6k is 8k. But, you know, if you really need to get over a monster, like let's say they have a Chaos Max, right? 6k beater right here. So yeah, these are great. And you only need one. And of course, Zeus, right? I've used Zeus a few times, especially it's great against Virtual World. Have any of these monsters attack if they did not OTK your opponent, overlay Zeus, right? And then you have like you know, the Zeus's interruption. Unfortunately, you cannot get to 4 materials. Well, actually you can. So if you make Gustav with 2 Eldliches and overlay this, that's 4 materials. But then you can't use any of their effects, which so it kind of defeats the purpose. Yeah, most of the time you can get 2 materials, but 4 materials is tough. So yeah, so this is must play Xyz package. Another cool thing is if they have a big beater, this is a 4k for punishment as a punishment target, right? All right, let's get to links. Let's go Link Spider and Imduck. In my previous video, I had 2 Link Spider, but I realized that, oh, what's the point of having 2 Link Spider if I can just have an Imduck, right? Why? You know, what's great about Imduck? Well, first of all, Imduck can link. So use Imduck to get and Link Spider to get rid of your Golden Land traps. So these are both normal monsters. So you can link them away to the graveyard to get Link Spider, or this. And why? Because after they're on the field, you want them in the graveyard so you can use their graveyard effect on the end phase to banish and search, right? Set a card. There are 2 ways to do it. You know, my other video I had Link Spider. There's 2 reasons I have Imduck now. 3 reasons actually. Reason number 1. Imduck has an effect that says if this arrow points to one of their monsters, you can attack that monster in battle phase and pop that monster, right? So it's similar to Relinquish Anima, but instead of taking their monster, it can in the battle phase it can pop it. So it's just a neat little out. Like if there's a problematic monster on their field, in front of one of the extra monsters, you can point. Or if they have an extra monster that has an upward arrow, you can literally like summon this in front of them, right, in your main monster zone. That's reason number 1. Reason number 2. This is a wind monster. The reason that's important is because I do run the Wind Charmer, which I'll talk about soon, and this is another attribute that you can banish for Accesscode Talker to pop yet another card. So yeah, so you have 2 options now, and guess what? Link Spider and Imduck can link it. Like if you have 2 of the little monsters, like technically you can link into Link Spider and then link into Imduck. Like they point to each other. So yeah, these are link 1s. Please play them. They're very good. Yeah, definitely want at least 1 of each. Your link 2s. We have 2 link 2s. Lina the Light Charmer, Wind the Wind Charmer. The only way to get to Wind the Wind Charmer is by linking Imduck with any other monster, right? This is the only wind monster you have in your deck. So Imduck transforms one of your Golden Land monsters into a wind, which can then go into wind. Why would you want to go into wind? Because so the strongest monsters in the game are dark, obviously. We're not running dark to Dark Charmer. Second strongest is light, hence why we have Lina. Third strongest are winds. What are some powerful wind monsters? Barone is a powerful wind monster. Crystal Wing is a powerful wind monster. You can even steal their Shen Shen, right? If you're against Virtual World, they have a Shen Shen, steal it, right? Just take it. So, yeah, this just gives you more options. And if you revive their Barone, Barone negate will be active, right? Because it's a new, because it's a once while it's on the field. So if once the graveyard of the field, and then Lina, of course, is a light charmer. Most of your monsters are light. You can use this to revive their Chisao, their Mechaba, their Nibiru. There's a number of great light monsters you can revive, right? And these are also good. She's also a good way to send monsters to the graveyard. Like, let's say you have Eldlich on the field with like Conquistador, right? So let's say this is your board, right? So start your turn, right? So this is 2,500 attack. This is 500, but it's in defense mode, right? So what you can do is you can link away these 2 to the graveyard. For Lina, Lina's 1850 attack. Use Lina effect. Let's say you revive Chisao. That's like 2,800, right? because Eldlich is in the graveyard, you can send a trap card, revive him, 35 plus 1850 plus let's say 28 from Chisao. That's game. You swing for game, right? So you can OTK just from that. Yeah, Lina is a great way to get, or if you don't want to go into like the link ones, let's say you have like two of these. Let's say you have both Waquero and these on your field, you can send them to the graveyard for Lina. Yeah, if you don't want to go through the link one route. Another cool thing about Lina is that but really either of the Wind Charmers is because, excuse me, because you can revive a monster from their field. It can, you've essentially generated like Link 3 capabilities with two bodies, right? You're essentially link climbing, right? So if you revive their Chisao or their Mechaba or whatever, you can now make a Link 3, right? It helps you link climb towards Accesscode. All the Charmers do, right? All right. So Link 3 is obviously Celine, right? Wrong. The Link 3 that we're running now is not Celine, but it's actually Draco Masters of the Tenyi. Ooh, what the F is this card? All right. So if you'll recall my previous deck profile, I used to run Celine. Celine was my Link 3. But now I'm running Draco Master of the Tenyi. So why am I running this card over Celine? Alright, so let's talk about Celine. It's like, oh, don't you use Celine to climb Accesscode? Yes. But in order for Celine to climb Accesscode, first of all, you need spells in the graveyard or field to generate 3 counters, right? And currently our deck has 3 spells, and we'll likely side them out. So unless your opponent generates a lot of spells for that, you're not going to get the 3 counters you need for Celine in the first place. Second of all, Celine needs to revive a spellcaster from your graveyard in defense mode. The only spellcasters on our entire deck are the Charmers. They're spellcasters, but because they are link monsters, they cannot revive in defense mode. Therefore, there are no targets in your deck that Celine can revive. So therefore, Celine doesn't help you link climb into Accesscode at all, like period, right? So that's why we cut Celine, and instead we're running Draco Master of the Tenyi. So Draco Master of the Tenyi, how do you summon? 2 or more monsters, including a link monster. So if you link climb through one of these, you can make Draco Master of the Tenyi. How does he differ from Celine, and why is he arguably better? First of all, his attack is 2600. Celine's is 1850. So if you just need a few more damage to end the game, he'll give you more damage than Celine will. First of all. Second of all, he has an interesting effect that comes up sometimes. Let's read what it says. First of all, cannot be destroyed by battle with an effect monster. So if they only have effect monsters and no like removal, you can literally just like summon this and just like sit on it. Like they can't they can't destroy this monster by battle with if they have an effect monster. Next, it says if you control no other effect monsters, so that means this is either the only card on the field, or you have one of the Golden Lands, because the Golden Land monsters are all normal monsters; they're not effect monsters. Then you can destroy effect monsters your opponent controls up to the number of non-effect monsters you control and or in your graveyard. So that means that if you have, let's say that your field looks something like this, you can activate this effect because you have 2 non-effect monsters. You can pop 2 effect monsters that your opponent controls. Is it targeting? It does not target. So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying this is going to come up all the time, but it's going to come up way more often than Celine's effect is. So I mean, you might as well use this guy over Celine, right? So yeah, interesting little interaction. One of the dudes who commented on my previous Eldlich profile video recommended this card, and so thank you, dude. I forgot your username, but yeah, I'll give you a thumbs up or a heart if you comment again. So yeah, solid card, very solid, and it's a light. Celine is also light, so if you have Gozen matchup, you can still get to this guy, right? Obviously, if you have Gozen matchup, you cannot get to your big boss Accesscode Talker. Very simple. Yeah, it's easy to get to Accesscode Talker with just 2 bodies. So let's say you have, so let's say you start your turn with this on the field. You link these 2. Lina revives a light monster. Maybe it's Effect Veiler, maybe it's Mechaba, whatever. Because Eldlich is in the graveyard, you send one of your traps, revive Eldlich. Then you can just literally go like Draco Masters, and then Accesscode. Accesscode will become 5300 because of Draco Masters. And now, obviously, like you need, link monsters with different attributes. So you have a total of, you have a potential earth, potential wind, and potential light. So you can get up to 3 pops in one turn because of your link monsters. So yeah, Accesscode can help you OTK, help you clear your opponent's board, can help you get over problematic monsters. Great card. Please play it. And that's the extra deck. A lot of these cards will get banished off Extravagance, but game 2 or 3, if you side out Extravagance, they won't be banished, and you can use them to their full extent. But yeah, this is a nice little toolbox of useful monsters, Xyz, links, etc. that I highly recommend play with Eldlich. All right. I think that's all for the extra deck. Let's go into the side deck. Side deck looks very similar to the last video, with a few changes which you'll soon see. Triple Lava Golem, triple Sphere Mode. If you're playing Eldlich, is a deck that does not normal summon. And these cards take up your normal summon, therefore they're literally perfect. They're made for this deck. Not only are they made for this deck, but Winged Dragon Raw Sphere Mode is a level 10, and they return to your field on your turn on your opponent's end phase. So you give them this, tribute their board, they end their turn, it goes back. These can overlay into a rank 10, baby. Like, yeah, you should always run these in your side deck. And if you're going second, so let's say you just won, you know your opponent's going to make you go second, these 6 will always go in your main deck. The only exception is if you're against Sky Striker, maybe you don't want Sphere Mode because, most of the time they'll sit on 2 monsters, 1 or 2 monsters. If you're against, like, I don't know, there are some matchups where they're not going to have more than 2 monsters. Even Sword Soul can avoid it, right? Like, Sword Soul might just end on Chi-Xiao, Barone, and Blackout, right? Like, very unlikely that they're going to end on 3 monsters. In that case, you don't need these, but almost every deck will end on at least, every deck's board will end on at least 2 monsters. So here you go. Great application, especially now with the Adventure Engine. Guess what? The Adventure token is a monster. Griffin is a monster. If Adventure token is attached to Griffin, to the Draco back, you tribute let's say you're against Adventure Phantom Knights, tribute their DPE, and then and their Brave token that kills their Griffin, kills their Draco back, kills their DPE. Like, just kills like 2 main engine pieces of theirs with 1 card, right? Obviously, against Adventure DP, like they're gonna have, Adventure Brave or PK, they're gonna have more monsters. So this will probably be better. But like I'm just saying, these are amazing. Like, they don't start chains. It tributes. The only thing that can stop them is a massive restrict, honestly. Like, and nobody freaking runs massive restrict. And I suppose Zombie World. Anyway, yeah, always run these in your side deck. All right. Continue on. 3rd copy of Heavenly, 3rd copy of Ice Dragons, 3rd copy of Gozen. If you don't like the fact that I'm telling you to run 3 Solemn Judgments in your main deck, feel free to swap these, put these in the side deck, and put these 3 in. That'd be the most straightforward, easiest change you can make if you don't like running main decking Solemn Judgments, but I do. So, yeah, you may not need these. These are very matchup dependent. All right, so now let's talk about the last 6 cards of the side deck, which are 4 of them are similar to what you've seen in my previous video. Heavy Storm Duster, Broken Line. Heavy Storm Duster is a normal trap, can be searched off trap trick, so we really have 4 of these. Good against back row matchups, or good against matchups where, like, they're gonna set stuff like their Philanderies. It takes out their map, takes out their unexplored winds. Against another Eldlich, takes out 2 of their cards. Like, yeah, this is just you're against Virtual World, takes out Chuche and like 1 other card. So yeah, this is a great card. Only needed 2 of because in the side deck, because it's very matchup dependent, and obviously 2 is a minimum you need to in order to use trap trick. It gives up your battle phase, so most of the time you'll be using it on their turn anyway. And of course, Broken Line is a going second card. You set it on a column that you know you're gonna want to negate. So let's say, like, you're going second. Let's say you have Torrential Tribute. This is like basically 2 more Solemn Strikes. Their Barone is in this column. Set it in the same column as Barone, and then not only will you negate and destroy, but like your traps will not get negated either. Like, or if you know they set Chuche here, set this down before they activate Chuche, and then on their turn, like, you can stop it. So these are going second cards. So when in doubt, you're not sure what to side in when you're going second, These are your 8 side-ins. These are perfect for going second. The rest, these others are very matchup dependent, but you'll never have a bad time if you side these in, like going second. Because like you might say, oh, broken line is like niche because what if they don't set the card in the right column? Well, if you're going second, they already set up their board. You know what column they're going to be in. And also, this is an interesting interaction with Lord of Heavenly Prison. Because this card can search spells and traps from your deck and sets them after you summon it, you can just set a broken line on a column of a potentially problematic card, right? Yeah, it'll get banished on the turn, but again, like it's a preemptive like protection thing, right? If you don't want to get like Strike or Judgment, and because they cost life points, yeah, search broken line. And finally, the last card, 2 cards of the side deck, which are new additions. Witch's Strike, baby. Witch's Strike. So some of y'all may have seen one of my other Eldlich videos where I'm playtesting, I'm messing around on, I think it was Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega, and I'm playing Witch's Strike. Witch's Strike is amazing. You want to side this in if you're in a matchup where you know that they're going to set up a negate. If you know they're going to have Mechaba, you know they're going to have the adventure token, the Griffin stuff, right? You know they're going to have, whatever, Barone, right? Like, whatever the negate may be. You side these in. Because you bait a card of yours, they negate it, and then you hit them with this on their turn. And because this is a 2-of, and it's a normal trap, you can search this off Trap Trick. So yeah, one thing you do is like set a card that you know they're gonna negate. Like one card I like to bait them with is like Elixir, right? Like people love to negate Elixir. So like Chainlink 1 Elixir, Chainlink 2 Mechaba or Barone or whatever negate or Griffin, Chainlink 3 bam. Or not Chainlink 3, new chain. Let that resolve, and then on new chain, flip this. Their field is wiped, their hand is wiped, gone. And because you're using this on their turn, they already drew their card, right? So, amazing card. If you can resolve this, you win. And it's a side deck, so you know it's not going to come up often. Like Sky Striker matchup, you're not going to use this. But now that we have the adventure token with all these very easy to access Omni Negate. It's perfect for Witch's Strike. It's a perfect time for Witch's Strike. So, you know, because it'll send the Griffin to the graveyard, it'll send the Draco back, it'll send it, everything, their whole board, everything will go to the graveyard thanks to Witch's Strike. Cool interaction that you can do, which if you didn't know, but you can see this in my other video. Let's say you have Trap Tricks set, right? Let's say you don't have these are in your deck, but you have a Trap Trick set, right? And then you have another trap, whatever, maybe it's Elixir, a trap you want to bait them with. You flip your trap. Let's say it's Elixir. Chainlink 1 Elixir. They try to negate your Elixir. Chainlink 2, either Griffin or Mechaba or Barone, whatever. Chainlink 2, Omni Negate. Chainlink 3, Trap Trick. Flip Trap Trick on Chainlink 3. Chain resolves backwards. Trap Trick. You banish a Witch's Strike to set a Witch's Strike from the deck. Chainlink 2 will resolve. They'll negate. The Chainlink 1 trap will get negated. On a new chain, on resolution, this is live. Activate this, blow up their board, blow up their hand. GG. So, yeah, Witch's Strike is insane with Trap Trick. Like, I kid you not. Like, this has single-handedly won me games. Like, it's so good. So good. Please play it. As a side deck, of course. Alright. I mean, I suppose if you really don't want to run Judgments in your main deck, you can side this in. It's a going second card, and it's perfectly fine going first as well. So yeah, feel free to do that, right? If you don't like Judgments in your main, put this in. Why not? So, alright, that's my deck list. Let me see if there's any combos or any other interactions I want to talk about. Yeah, I want to show you a trick of playing into evenly matched, right? So very likely that they're going to have evenly matched in game 2 and 3, simply because they see you're a set 4 pass, set 5 pass deck. How do I deal with evenly matched? It's going to come. Well, first of all, if you have Judgments, then evenly matches. If you open Judgment, evenly matches is dealt with. But what if you don't open Judgments? What do you do? Well, if you know they have evenly matched, and they likely side in, and you're going first, you need to be conservative about your traps, right? You don't want to set too many... Like, here's the thing. If they have evenly matched, they will not have a battle phase. So you will, so whatever board they create, they're not going to actually OTK you, right? So you don't actually need that many back row cards set up in the first place. So instead of set 4 pass, set 5 and pass, consider set 3 and pass, right? Why do I say 3? 3 is a magic little number for a few reasons. One, if they evenly match and you have 3 cards, you'll get rid of 2. So they're trading 1 card for 2, which is advantageous in their favor. But specifically, if your card is specifically this card, let's say you set 3 cards. You set this card, and by the way, I recently did this last time I played Eldlich at my locals. I was against I think a Numeron player, and he had like he definitely went evenly matched. This was a game where I did not have Solemn Judgment in my hand, in my opening hand. So I set 3 dimension. I had Dimension Barrier. I had Skill Drain. And I had one more card set. What was it? I want to say, I don't know, maybe it was Punisher. It doesn't matter. I had a third card set, whatever it was. Let's say, whatever. All right. Here's what you do. You set 3, you pass. All right. They go into their battle phase. At the start of battle phase, right? So if they go into battle phase and do nothing in main phase, you know evenly match is coming. At the start of battle phase, you flip Dimension Barrier and you call the summoning type that you know their deck uses. So if you're against a Sword Soul deck, you call Synchros. If you're against a Numeron deck, you call Xyz. If you're against a Drytron deck, you call Rituals. If you're against if you have knowledge, this is game 2 and 3, right? You should have some knowledge of your deck at this point. If you know what type of summons they use, if they're playing the Hulk package, right, they're going to be Synchro summoning. Call Synchros, right? So start a battle phase. When they go into battle phase, flip this and call the correct summoning type. This goes to the graveyard. Now they can still evenly match you, but their evenly match will only take out one of your cards, right? So that's an okay trade, right? Because they gave up their battle phase, and they're going to get a card that probably doesn't matter anyway. They play evenly match, keep your Floodgate. So if this is Skill Drain or Gozen, you keep the Floodgate. So in this case, I kept the Floodgate and I banished the other trap face down. Well, whatever. I kept the Floodgate. All right, now they go into main. Now, like, even if they have a second evenly match, they can't use anything for it. And then they go into their main phase 2. They're restricted out of summoning because this is a lingering effect. It's not a continuous effect. Lingering. They're restricted out of a certain type of summoning, and you can also hit them with Skill Drain. So they don't have battle phase, they can't OTK you, and the fact that you lock them out of summoning and monster effects means that they're not going to like set up a board so strong that you can't follow up on next turn, right? So yeah, be smart about evenly match. If it's game 2 or 3 and you're going first, and you know they have evenly matched, like, or you can even just assume that they do. Don't just set 5 and pass unless you have Judgment. Then Judgment will protect everything. But just think, like, especially if you open like, depending on the combination of traps you open, you may only need to set 3 and pass and you'll be okay, right? Setting 3 and passing is perfectly fine. So keep that in mind. Play around evenly match. I played against plenty of Eldlich players who do not play around evenly match, and then I evenly match them and they lose. Like, they just scoop, right? So yeah, just a little trick I want to show you, like, about being smart. Don't just blindly set cards and pass, right? Let's see, what other cool interactions are there? Well, Skill Drain. So remember how I said that Skill Drain stops your doesn't affect you because your Eldlich, your main monsters, Eldlich and Heavenly Prison, their effects are graveyard and hand. They do not have field effects, so this doesn't affect them. But you know it does have field effects. Your Lynx and Xyz, they have field effects, right? So if you have Skill Drain on the field, and you want to like get rid of this, one way you could do is like literally, you either use, if you already have Eldlich on the field, summon Conquistador and pop this, or if you have an Eldlich in the graveyard, literally send this for cost and summon this, right? Especially now that we have 3 skill drains in the deck, like that's just way more flexibility. We have 2 more of these bad boys, like, so even if you like unskill drain for 1 turn and then like do a play like with Xyz or Lynx, you can set another skill drain, or maybe it won't matter, right? So don't be afraid to unskill drain, like, or to shut off the floodgate. If you think like it'll be useful to like to kill them or whatever, like set up a powerful board. Let me see other interactions. It's hilarious on certain sometimes when you have like Gozen match with any of these. I've had games where I played against Dragon Link. The Dragon Link player ended on hot red archfiend, red hot red what is it? Hot red dragon archfiend abyss, right? And Borreload savage dragon with like whatever 3 counters. I think there was yeah, I still had Gozen match. I think it was game one. No, it was game two. I forgot to side out one of my Gozen matches. Yeah, so they had 2 monsters. I give them Lava Golem, and then I set Gozen match. On their draw phase, I flip. They're locked into fire monsters. So all their lights and darks in their hands or whatever, like they're locked into fire monsters, and then you can just delay and let them burn for 1,000. Oh yeah, I remember it was game three because he lost game three on time because he burned for 1,000, and he couldn't get rid of the lava golem, and I was just stalling and like putting up, summoning golden land monsters to mount a defense. So yeah, goes in the match will lock them into fires, which is like one of the weakest types in the game, or divine, right? They don't like. I doubt they have any divine monster. So yeah, hilarious interaction there. Definitely worth trying thinking about. Let's see what else. Be careful about Elixir because Elixir locks you into a zombie monster, so you cannot Elixir followed by an Ice Dragon's Prison unless the Ice Dragons is targeting a zombie monster, and you also cannot Elixir followed by a Lord of Heavenly Prison because this is a rock monster that wants to summon. So be careful about the timing of your Elixir. Do not lock yourself out into zombies prematurely. So yeah, that's pretty much everything you need to know. Yeah, Eldlich Mirror. I mean, you can take out the skill drains, and giving them lava golems is kind of funny. Having a Lord of Heavenly Prison can be nice. Ice Dragons and Heavy Storm, super important. Broken Line. Witch's Strike. If they have Solemn Strike, you new chain Witch's Strike. Bye bye their whole hand and field, right? So yeah, so that's my deck. You should be able to top with this if you know what you're doing. Be careful about timings. Yeah, that's all she wrote. Feel free to leave comments if you have any more suggestions. A lot of these ratios you just gotta figure out and pick up like by playing them. You realize like, oh, this card's not so good in this format or whatever. Yeah, mainly the main thing that's gonna change per format is like the trap lineup, but most of the other stuff is gonna stay the same. So anyway, all right. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something, and hopefully this will be my last Eldlich video for a while. I know I always say that, and yeah, Dark Magician list coming very soon. Alright, thank you for watching, take care, bye.